But I do think it's
Quite funny.
but I do think it's a decent point because there are a lot of people that deny the concept of race, yet also throw around the term racist a lot. It seems.
Yeah, that's because people are so stupid. You have to call them racist because that's the level of mentality that they have. Like, I don't believe in the concept of race because it's not fucking debunked anyway. It's been debunked for a while.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Shut up, Iron. I'm talking to fucking.
Race is a classification of human taxonomy. What are you talking about?
Can you just shut up? Can you just shut up?
It's like saying the concept of color is debunked. What are you talking about?
Shut up, man. Shut up.
Can you just tell me what you mean?
Shut the fuck up on me.
Can you articulate what you mean when you say it's debunked?
Well, if you shut the fuck up, are you gonna shut the fuck up?
Yeah, go for it. Tell me.
Thank you. I want to speak to fucking Ace, right?
Okay.
So, the concept of race, right, in regards to one is superior than another, which is racist, as defined in the dictionary, right? I think people who are that stupid, who think humans are different as a species, confuse it with race, right? So when someone's like, I don't like black people because of X, Y, and Z, the only word in the vernacular people cling to is racism, which why it gets banded around all the time and misused.
Maybe, but
and like this fucking tool, you know.
So, Sizer, I've got a question for you. So, do you think that humans? So, you agree to the concept of like subspecies, right?
You can't have subspecies in humans. We haven't been around that long.
No. Well, that's not true. Actually,
no, it is fucking true. You idiot.
Said a race is classified in human taxonomy.
Wait.
That was
What the fuck are you talking about? Listen, can I just let me cut in for a second. I just have to cut in because I'm going to lose my mind. You know, you could create a new subspecies in a day, right? If you had access to artificial gene editing.
Oh, we don't, you fucking idiot. Shut up.
What are you talking about? We have access to that now.
We're not in a sci-fi movie. Shut up, Iron.
It's not a sci-fi movie. We have access to that technology now. We can add...
Hey, stop.
You're over-talking. We have access to the technology currently to gene edit, at least on simpler organisms, right? So we can make entirely new subspecies of organisms with their own distinct genetic code right now. We have the technology. It doesn't take a lot of time. It could take anywhere between an hour to 100 million years. It just depends on the mechanism. So don't say that people just haven't been around long enough.
If his claim is about how long it takes in nature, then you bring up an artificial process. It's not
because it's all about
it's not going to be relevant to his claim. Now, what y'all should ask him is how long does he think it actually takes for a subspecies to arise?
He doesn't know. He's a fucking idiot.
I don't think it's even necessary.
And then
let me talk to Jovan for a second.
Then you can just give him an easy empirical.
The creation of the university caused selection to happen much more quickly than normally because you had diversified fields. So, for example, most people worked on the farm or worked in like piping or whatever. When the diversity was created, you had physics and philosophy and so on. So people with high IQ went into those fields and they made it with people with high IQ. That happened like literally overnight.
So, you agree that biology is field in the first place? Do you agree that biology is like a sketchy field in the first place?
This is comedy gold. I love
I'm sorry. Do I agree with that?
That biology is kind of like a sketchy field in the first place in the sense that it's mostly arbitrary.
No.
Do you actually think these are subspecies of people, or do you think it's more of a spectrum where you'll see correlations and stuff, and generalizations can be made, but I'm not necessarily sure there are these definitive lines.
I think there's a lot. I agree with Rise. I agree with Rise. There's a lot of overlapping. I agree with the Rise completely.
What the fuck?
You're trying to distinguish if it's clinal, if it's like just a gradient geographic distinction, or if there's like little segments that would make subspecies. But that's like really nuanced. What he's talking about, he's talking about something completely different from what the actual claims are.
Oh my God.
He doesn't know anything about what race realists are actually positing.
It's okay. We know you're a Nazi. It's fine.
But the university created a selection pressure that we've never seen, like artificially, well, I guess it's artificially created, that allow people smarter to meet people that were smarter, and that's going to cause. I mean, that is the process in which evolution works. Why wouldn't that happen quickly? Why do you think that would happen long? Like, why do you think it takes so long for it to happen? I don't get that.
Do you think maybe different cultures all developed more separately since we've had more communication? You're seeing contrasts between people of different societies, just like due to who interacted with who. Like, for instance, if you put like red and blue next to one another, you're not going to necessarily see a rainbow. But if you put them all in the line that they are on the electromagnetic spectrum, you're going to see a full rainbow that just blends one into the other. But because you're contrasting different ends of it, like, you know what I mean? You're not I'm not necessarily sure that there are these distinctive groups. It's more that, you know, that what you're contrasting, and like I was saying, in certain circumstances, the stereotypes are more true than others. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's, like, the debate, I think, really should be about looking at the genetics, analyzing the genetics, really trying to see what those correlations are, how they're affected when you mix different populations, and if certain things like are
right. The answer to that question is that it's happening right now. The social scientists are getting like the Charles Murray and that group. They're getting very, very close to the end, and also with the Genome Project. Well, we're getting ready to make this Genome. Yeah, you can pronounce it both ways. But we're getting ready to narrow it down, and also not just race, not just race, but sex as well. Like, it's just getting ready to be figured out.
Yeah, and I'd say, like, if you look at something like race, it doesn't make sense that you would only change physical characteristics and nothing about emotional characteristics. I also think it's very important to understand that there are certain strengths in a lot of different populations and that are not recognized in certain, because if you have a culture, this isn't exclusive to race, this is simply like if you have a culture interacting for a long period of time, certain emotional characteristics are going to be selected for. And so I'd say, for instance, if you were a person who was a part of the Roman Empire for an extended period of time, if your heritage comes from that versus your heritage coming from another culture, that you're going to see you're going to see different patterns.
Yeah. Fuck niggas, we got it.
Yeah, so I think no, but I mean, to be optimistic, I think the solution is going to be this, right? We're going to figure out, using DNA analysis, we're going to figure out what's what. That's going to happen within the next 10 to 20 years, I guarantee it. And then after that, the people that are behind, right, like that are really behind, we're going to use maybe CRISPR or some type of technology or pharmaceutical drugs to get them on the same page. That is, if you're being optimistic, that's what you're looking at. You want everyone to.
This is
TV show. Well, I mean, I also think that if you look at different,
this conversation is like a TV show. Like the amount of stupid in one conversation is literally blowing my fucking mind at this.
So if you look at generally at specific populations, things that were a strength in that population are going to be selected for. For the person to be adapting into the culture and to mate, anything that's going to socially be strengthening people are going to be like personality and like an innate predispositions that are going to be selected for. I think that in terms of certain populations, the ability to act immediately and be able to recognize all these be able to recognize stimulus immediately and react appropriately, I think that's something that whites really lack in, because they don't necessarily. If you were to have a ton of different stimuli thrown at you at once, I think that certain other races are better at handling that than white people. I think that.
Wait, but we're not even.
Hey, can I say something?
We're not even at that point yet. Alright, so Sizor rejects the idea of like taxonomical differences in the human species.
Okay, yeah, so
taxonomical differences in human species are none.
There are.
I have a question.
None.
Sizer, I want to.
Wait.
You can genetically map where people come from. That's pretty much what it is. It's
Listen,
pretty much
even the most lib cussy fucking retards admit that there might be a couple of at least like Polynesian fucking island examples of people being disconnected from the other people in a way that's like genetically.
But that's not what we're talking about out here.
Obviously, you have no idea what that fucking talking about these stories that you're saying.
Realize that the Homo sapien brain, the same fucking brain it was when we speciated the Homo sapien.
No, that's nonsense. That's total nonsense.
Oh my
Same
god.
fucking brain. Prior evolution has occurred. The brain is pretty much the same fucking.
Yeah, great. You saw one fucking episode of I Fucking Love Science on fucking
There's
CBS.
massive.
And this fucking idiot didn't bother to watch the first 5 minutes.
Hey, chill.
Could I just ask Sizer a question?
Okay, all of you.
Show me anything related to human taxonomy that addresses
Can
race.
I just say one thing, please? Thank you. Okay. So, it is actually a total mistake to say that the brain has not undergone any selective pressures since the emergence of modern anatomically modern human beings.
Human brain hasn't changed for 50,000 years, dude.
That's a mistake. That is a total mistake. And even, look, okay, so look, let's just take that on face value. Let's say that the human brain...
Show me your citation. Show me.
Yeah, I'll get to that. Look, I'll get to that in just a sec. I already posted one citation in general chat. I already did that for one, stupid claim. Now, on this stupid claim, so the thing is, let's just assume that the brain has not changed in the last 50,000 years, which it has. But let's just assume it hasn't.
Volume's got
I don't think the thing is, I don't think.
Look, I'm in the middle of a sentence. So, let's assume that the brain has not changed in 50,000 years. That still means that there are 200,000 years in which anatomically modern human beings have been around where their brains have changed. So, that would
No, your brain changes, dude. You mean literally changed. Like, no cortex or no fucking, like, lizard fucking brain bit.
Okay, look.
If everything else changed about us, our muscles, our skin appearance, and all that other stuff, what makes you think the brain wouldn't change?
Hey, are you talking about Homo sapien here?
As I've been trying to say.
I don't know what the fuck that's talking about.
We are Homo sapien.
Let Rise ask the question. You want to split up with the Rise? Actually, fucking question already.
Okay, so Sizor, I just want to ask you to clarify your position on race and what that means, and if you think there's any general differences, and if you think there's any credence to there being a genetic factor.
Finish, man.
Yeah. So I guess, So I just want him to clarify his position. So because it seems like we're making assumptions on what his position is, and I want to hear from him what his position.
All humans are the same species. Race is a fucking bullshit word anyway.
Yeah, but wait, by that, do you mean that there's no generalizations on that humans are different based on their culture and background?
Culture's not the same thing. Culture's an environment in which you grow up in, and you learn any given humans that you're in the fucking space with. But if you're talking about like anatomically, like can I fuck any human on the planet and make a baby? Yes, I can.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, I guess, do you think...
Right, so what you're saying is they're all different subspecies from the same species?
Yeah, so no, but sorry.
Already, Iron.
Yeah, because you're aware that species can procreate with each other.
Iron, I remember
I'm sure you don't know anything about it.
I remember you once used to when you talking about
Yeah, no, I remember you too, fucking idiot.
Yeah, when you had a Nazi flag as your fucking icon.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah,
so Sniper, what I'm asking is...
you're a fucking Nazi.
So if you have a group that biologically has only interacted with one another for thousands of years, do do you think they're going to develop certain personality differences from one another that can then transcend generations? Do you think that there can be genetic?
No. It's far too. You see, the thing is, you're confused on how humans act with our actual physiology. It took millions of years to get to this point. It's gonna take a fucking fuck ton of millions of years for us to fucking. If only English people. Okay, let me answer your question, right? If only English people stayed on this island and never interacted with any of the fucking humans on the planet, it would take a million years plus at least for even us to remotely be even distant to the next door neighbours in France. That's how long it takes for evolution to do its fucking job. Do you know how long
I feel like he's.
Wait,
it's so dumb.
Wait, can I respond to Cesar? That's actually not true. Here's the thought.
Oh my god, it is fucking tragic and victorious.
No, look, Cesar, this is really cool.
In order for you to not be able to fuck a human would take a long fucking time.
Who reproduces is based on
Rise. I was in the middle of a sentence. All of you. Okay,
I just want to respond. He was responding to me.
I don't care. Just calm down for a second and let me say something. So, Stizor, here's a really interesting thought experiment. So I can demonstrate to you that evolution can happen overnight. Would you like me to do that?
It's a thought experiment. It's not properly real life.
No, it is real. No, it's
I can demonstrate. I can
It is a totally probable thought experiment. So just listen up. Let's say you have a group of crickets. Like let's say you have 100 crickets in a cage, and this cage is left outside. Now, you do agree that evolution is defined as a change in the allele frequency of a group, right? You do agree that that's what evolution is defined as, right?
You telling me we're crickets?
Okay, yeah.
So no, in this thought experiment, we're crickets, right?
No, we're talking about crickets.
But we're humans.
I know, but we're talking about evolution. It happening overnight, okay?
But it doesn't happen overnight. That's the problem. But it doesn't. Hold on. I'll give you one thing. Hold on.
The same thing. Look, Cesar, the same thing can happen overnight with humans. But let's talk about crickets. As I was saying, so I'm sure this makes sense to the definition of evolution as the change in allele frequency over time. So given that definition of evolution,
overnight.
Oh yeah, overnight. So given that definition of evolution, I can show that evolution can happen overnight. So we've got a cage of crickets. They're left outside, and during that night, there's a cold snap. And what happens is that 50% of the crickets die. So we're now left with 50 crickets that are much cold hardier as a group than the original 100. And since evolution is defined as the change in allele frequency over time, evolution has happened overnight because of the cold snap killing off 50% of the crickets.
That is just the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard. Where in regards to how the brain changes. You're using like...
No, look, I'm not talking about the brain. Look, I'm not talking about the brain.
Yeah, but I am.
I will. Look, you're talking about a lot of things. You're talking about a lot of things.
I'm talking about one specific thing, and everyone's fucking talking about other many things, and I don't, it's not even my conversation anymore.
We'll talk about the brain in just a second. We'll talk, look, trust me, I'm getting to that. We'll talk about the brain in just a second. You're making claims about how evolution needs to take millions of years, and I just demonstrated to you a very simple thought experiment, which it would only take overnight to happen. So now on to brains.
Still be able to fuck the crickets.
Now on to brains, right? Okay. So, we know that you would agree that it is the case that brains of any animal are subject to evolutionary pressures.
Not overnight, no.
I'm not saying overnight. I'm just saying
in time, but you're trying to make the claim that somehow this fucking thought experiment.
No, wait, look. I'm not, okay, let's leave that thought experiment aside. That thought experiment had nothing to do with the brain. Okay, I'm now talking about brains. I was just attacking the silly claim that you made about how evolution requires millions of years. It doesn't. It can happen overnight.
No, no. In regards to what I fucking stated about a human being a subspecies of a fucking human would take fucking millions of years. And if you think that's not the fucking case, and in your fucking head that's going to happen overnight, then you will win a Nobel fucking prize, my good sir.
Let's talk about subspecies. All right, let's talk about
subspecies. Modify a fucking human.
Currently,
I don't fuck one anymore.
I don't need to invoke genetic modification to make my argument.
You fucking have to do it overnight, to make subspecies of human.
No, it doesn't have to happen. No, it doesn't have to happen overnight. Okay.
No, but this is the point. If it doesn't happen overnight, how long does it fucking take naturally to fucking happen?
A few generations at most.
A few generations. You know how many generations humans have been around for already? Have we changed dramatically for 250,000 years?
Massively diverse.
Africa? Have we changed much? No.
Yet
the human brain hasn't changed for the last 35,000 years.
Massively. So as I was saying, look,
35,000 years.
Look, one sec. No, anatomically modern human beings have been around for 250,000 years.
Yeah, 250,000. Yeah, that's how long we've been around, give or take, let's say, right? Nothing's changed radically, apart from maybe bigger bits of our brains have learned some shit to do other things. But generally, it's been the fucking thing.
20,000 years ago.
No.
Let
me just explain. Hello. Look, I'm in the middle of a sentence. So look, okay. So here's an example of a known evolutionary trait that's been gained in humans. So Tibetans are nearly identical to the Han Chinese.
Sounds so ridiculous.
There was a group of Han Chinese that moved into the Himalayas that formed the founding population of the Tibetans. And they have a particular set of genes that allow their children to be born at these high altitudes. The thing is that this split happened about 4,000 to 5,000 years ago. So not that long ago.
But there was no humans, so you could fuck them. That's the point.
One sec. So 4,000 to 5,000 years ago, there was a group of Han Chinese that went into the Himalayas, and over time, they acquired the trait of being able to have live birth at high altitudes.
How long?
If you take a Han Chinese individual today, and they try to give live birth in the Himalayas, their child will suffocate. So this is a trait that has been acquired in the last 4,000 to 5,000 years.
Can I mate with one of them?
Yeah, can I fuck one?
Can I mate with one?
Yes.
And we're the same species.
Fucking idiot.
Exactly. Right. Okay, so I agree. Look, I agree that there's.
You're trying to confuse what I was trying to say to pull fucking rise down here.
No, I know what the problem
is. Is there any difference between humans? And I said, technically, no, it isn't, because we can all fuck each other and make babies. Now, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it might suffer.
We're all part of the
all my people. I invite you to read the Quran. All my people.
Look, everybody calm down. Okay, so yes, there is a single human species. Yes.
Thank you. However, that was my fucking point.
However, there are multiple human subspecies.
There is no subspecies of human. No, there isn't. Oh my god.
Look, there is one. Look. Okay, so I agree with you.
No.
At least phylogenetically, there's much evidence that there are multiple human subspecies. Officially, in the official
genus
taxonomy of humans, just listen. Come on, guys.
I don't want to listen to you. You got me nuts, dude. Shut up, man.
It is the case that in the official biological taxonomy that is currently used, there is currently only one extant human subspecies, Homo sapiens sapien. I agree.
Oh my god. But then, just shut up. If you want to call it whatever it is, that's great. That's fine. That's in the, I don't think subspecies. That's fucking retarded.
Listen.
You know, like mini humans, you can't fuck or something.
Just 1 second.
Alien humans. Alien humans.
I wasn't even done with my argument.
Seriously.
Okay? So as I was saying, the thing is that this is a mistaken view in science. It is a critical mistake in our taxonomy that is created due to political pressures that there's only one extant subspecies. So now there's actually many, but the two most common definitions for taxonomy or way to distinguish between subspecies is either by either genetic grouping or clustering, or by phenotypic grouping or clustering.
Okay, so did you watch the video that I posted in the chat?
Listen, I'm almost done. Look, this is a complex topic. It requires
it isn't.
Okay, look, just listen.
I literally posted an entire video on genetics in the fucking chat.
Okay, look, I posted a paper, Stizor, that you should take a look at, okay?
Oh, I don't want to fucking look at your stupid papers, dude. I just
don't. Look, this is cutting edge. Look, this is cutting edge
Jeffrey,
science.
shut up! You're boring.
So as I was saying, so when it comes to creating phylogenetic trees and like these taxonomies, it's typical to use either one of the two criteria, either heterozygosity, which is the genetic version, or essentially phenotyping, which is just looking at an animal.
I still don't know your fucking point. You just said
just listen. Look, listen.
You're taking 10 fucking years, Ace. Get on with it, man.
Look, look, I'm not taking.
I'd rather listen to fucking Dionysus call me a fucking nigger at this point. Come on, dude.
I keep getting interrupted. It's taking me forever because I get interrupted. So, like I said, so we can either look at the heterozygosity of a group of individuals, or we can look at the phenotypic traits of a group of individuals. So I think the phenotypic one is the simplest one to understand. So let's take tigers, right? Let's take tigers. Now, if you were to take a group of 100 tigers from, say, like 3 different subspecies, and they were equally mixed. So you had 33 of one type of subspecies of tigers, 33 of another species of so you had 33 from 3 different subspecies. Now, they are different subspecies if a expert can distinguish between the different subspecies of tigers with an accuracy of 95%. So that's what makes a subspecies when you're only considering phenotype. Do you understand that?
I'm sorry, I wasn't fucking listening.
Why? Like, aren't you interested in understanding like the actual argument rather than just
what argument?
Like proselytizing your dogma?
I said all humans are the same, and you said you agree.
No, I don't. No, I don't. They're not the same. They are part of the same species, but they are not part of the same subspecies.
That was my only point.
No, okay, but we're talking about subspecies, okay?
You can make that shit up on your own. I don't care.
What do you mean? No,
listen to me very carefully, Ace. I don't fucking care. All humans, to me, are the fucking same. If you want to call them subspecies because you read it in a fucking book somewhere, good. I'm not a wizard because I read Harry Potter, okay?
Okay, so, then you're taking a very anti-scientific...
No, I'm taking an I don't give a fuck stance.
Well, look, yeah, you're taking a very, lazy and anti-scientific...
If you think there's a subspecies of human, good for you. I couldn't give a rat's ass. When I go to shop and buy milk, or when I buy fucking beer, I don't go around thinking, oh wow, are you a subspecies of human? You'd have to be a fucking loon.
I get that. Right. But okay, but I'm just saying. Let me
live on the stupid level of treating all people equal, while you read stupid things and fucking confuse shit. I don't want to confuse.
I'm just saying that this is a thorn in the back of race denialists such as yourself.
Oh my god! Now I'm being accused of being a race denialist. No, that's your problem, dude. I don't have an issue with race. I don't see it. You do. So how is it my
problem? Well, that's also race. How can
I deny something? How can I deny something?
Wait, did you know that race blindness is also racism?
I think you just made that up, but it sounds great.
No. Look up race blindness is racism. This is a common argument.
You are literally a fucking loon at this point.
Listen, it's not complicated, right? What if we said there was a meteor that was going to come down and hit the Earth, and we had a way of knowing it was only going to hit 100% of black people, but we took on board a race blind view, a color blind view. So we just said, oh, it's going to hit a bunch of people, but it's not that bad, right? But it just came down and hit all the black people and killed every black person on Earth. Do you think that would be a problem?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, buddy, you're the race blind guy.
I've got no fucking idea of what goes on in your crazy fucking mind, so I don't fucking
Well,
care.
I just asked you, do you think genocide is a problem?
Only for the people who are committing it, and the people who get slaughtered by the people committing it.
Can you tell this guy to stop spamming general chat? Because this is just insane that he keeps
spam.
Yeah, if it keeps doing it a couple more times, I'll just give another one.
Yeah, just no chatting for a bit. Okay, I appreciate it.
Who is it?
Give him a couple more
Who cares? He's just an idiot.
I know.
So look, Steisler, the whole point is that if an expert one sec. So if an expert is able to accurately determine the phenotypic differences or subgroupings of a population of individuals in the same species of an accuracy between 85 to say on the upper end 95%, then they form a subspecies.
I don't care. It's bullshit. I literally don't fucking care.
Okay.
So can I just make a point? If you look at humans, what caused the human species to evolve was our ability for higher level thinking, our ability to communicate. And so us communicating as a species allowed us to cooperate to protect ourselves in our environment. So when you have groups that for thousands of years were operating in different environments, you end up with physical changes. Like, for instance, the reason skin color changed was because of melanin exposure. And so people in the northern climates didn't have as much melanin exposure, so it was more advantageous, so they did get vitamin D, that they were going to be able to have lighter skin. So they would absorb more vitamin D, for instance, and in other regions, they needed to protect themselves from harmful rays of the sun, which they were constantly exposed to much more of a degree than people in the northern climates. And so those people also kept the darker skin. And so physical changes did occur over time in different environments due to the actual physical location of the person. Now, if you look at societies, you're also going to have selection for brain functioning and people's ability to communicate within different environments and within different societies. And if over time you have certain societies where certain abilities mentally are more advantageous than others, then in terms of reproduction, those people and those that have those predispositions and those mental capabilities are going to be selected for. And so depending on what society you're in, if it's relatively isolated for a long period of time, you're going to see differences evolve just like you'd see physical differences, because all of mental functioning is physical. Now, I'm not saying that this means that people can't adapt that or change that, and I don't know how much that is something that's epigenetic versus something that's ingrained genetics. And I think that's something that we're currently researching, and I don't necessarily think that it's the be all end all, or that I don't even know how significant it is, especially given the fact that there's been so much race mixing over time and so much cultural integration that I'm not sure how prevalent or how important these factors are in terms of our ability to develop and how much there's similarity. What I'm saying is that to deny that there is any difference, or that you can make certain generalities, especially with regards to certain areas of the country or certain of areas of the United States versus other places, I think it's just very important to recognize that while this is all something that's going to be subjective to the individual, there are certain patterns that have emerged with it. And just like, for instance, if you have a white...
Yeah, we got it. Fuck niggers, we got it.
No, I'm saying if you have a white and a black person that marry...
Yeah, white people are better than black people.
The kid may have really light skin. Or the kid may have...
Yeah, we got it.
And if you have two people that are,
you know I like Iron, because Iron is an actual Nazi. You're just like a pussyfied one, right?
Me? How?
Yeah. You just you say a lot and don't say anything, and Iron just literally says fuck black people. At least he's honest. You're not.
But why would I say that? So I actually think that there are general predispositions for certain different black cultures that are very different than white cultures. No, I actually, like I was talking about, with the ability to absorb immediate stimuli and respond to it. I think that Have
you read this in a book, or you just make this shit up as
No, I didn't know. What I'm talking about is that I think that people themselves, if their physical bodies have adapted to their environment and to their ability to integrate with their society to reproduce, and to actually attract a mate and to then live long enough to be able to reproduce, then those physical factors are going to be selected for, and that requires mental capability, that requires mental communication.
Can I ask you a question? I don't mean to interrupt. Can I ask you a question?
What?
Are you single?
Yes. Why?
Just asking.
Okay, I'm currently single. What does that have to do with anything? Are you?
Are you hot?
I mean, it depends. I think that attractiveness really depends on the.
Yeah. I know. I understand. Like, are you hot?
In California, I mean, I personally like how I look. It depends on, whether or not.
You know how to answer like a simple question.
Hold on. Right, are you in California?
Yeah, fuck off. Nobody wants to hear the guy who sounds like he's fucking calling it in from like fucking some CIA op in the middle of fucking Middle East or whatever the fuck.
I'm not in New York, but well, like, look, what
guys, are you Jewish?
No.
Alright, good.
Well, my point is that there's genetic factors going on here, and you can make generalizations the same way you can make generalizations about any physical trait.
But you're incapable of generalizing whether you're hot or not? Is that where we're at right now?
Well, I mean, I think that there are a significant number of people that have found me attractive. I mean, it's not like I've never had, engaged with the other sex and stuff. Like, you know what I mean? I think that, like, when it comes to whether or not what you like and what you're attracted to in a guy or for you and a girl, then it really depends on, like, whether or not, do you like big boobs? Do you like a big butt? Do you like a skinny waist? Do you like them short? Do you like them tall? Do you like with long hair, short hair? Do you like it's all going to depend on your own personal preference, right, to a certain degree?
Yeah, you could have flippers and still get laid. I think that's possible, but you wouldn't generally be considered hot if you had, like, flippers or whatever.
Yeah, that's fair. Yes, and there are. I mean, generally, I would consider myself attractive. I'm thin, so I don't have big boobs or a big butt. But I have a good ratio, waist-hip ratio and stuff. So and this is how I personally like myself to look. So I mean, it depends on whether or not the guy needs the big, like. If they like women, they're women more.
Yeah, I'm not a nigger. I don't need like a ghetto fat ass or whatever. That's a long way of saying like, yeah, you're proportionate or like attractive or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I would consider myself attractive. And some people think I'm too skinny. I mean, it depends on if people depends on what people like. I mean,
you clearly didn't get my joke there. That not to do with your looks, by the way.
Okay, so Stizer, I just don't understand your race denialism.
Well, I guess I don't.
Hold on, Ace. If I could crawl through my...
Ace is coming in to ruin a perfectly good conversation.
And strangle you right now, I fucking would. Don't follow me, bitch, and I will fucking find you.
Look,
and I will stick
my
big black dick in your ass, and you will like every inch of it.
Stizer, all I'm saying is that biodiversity is a thing. Human biodiversity is a thing.
Shut up, Ace. No one cares, Ace. Shut up. Ace, you don't care anymore.
There's a lot of diversity in the human species. Anyway, Iron, you can go back to talking about it.
Iron, call me a nigger, please. Just make me feel normal again after that conversation. I just feel like I need to be grounded. Come on, bro, you know you want to do it. My little favourite Nazi.
Listen, dude, I don't do tricks on demand, okay?
Oh, come on, please. Come on. My birthday.
Is it?
It's not your birthday, you dumb fuck.
It is, because I just said it is. So fucking shut up.
Well, happy birthday, Stizor.
I don't want happy birthday. I want Iron to be angry at me for being black.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure you guys are being fair to Stizor's position because I don't think he's saying that there's not differences.
Don't start, lad. Don't get them going again.
Oh, I think I'm being
We won't be able to shut them fucking up. Especially 8.
Like, I know this discussion like the back of my hand.
Yeah, I just don't think that when you use the term subspecies that you guys are defining it the same way.
No, look.
No, that's the point. He wants to make. Look.
How do you define subspecies?
I don't define them. That's the point. I don't define.
You don't. Wait. So you don't have a definition of subspecies?
I don't require one. No. So, no.
Why?
Wait. Okay. Let me ask you the same question. What's God?
God is the creator of the universe.
And is that a description?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So what are you describing to me when you say subspecies?
Describing a set of groupings.
Yeah. Of what?
Or a process to generate a phylogenical tree.
Of what?
Of the biodiversity that we observe.
Of what?
Of the biodiversity we observe in nature.
What's the grouping called, though? You're categorizing. What's the grouping?
It's a taxonomic.
No, that's what it's made up of. What are you grouping, though?
Yeah, it's a taxonomic tree.
What are you measuring?
What I'm measuring? Difference.
Of what?
Depending. So, like I said, either phenotypic or genotypic differences.
Yeah, but what's that a part of, though?
Of animals and plants.
No, but what specific one are we talking about here?
Humans.
Thank you. I will. Shut up.
Okay, so you don't have a definition of subspecies, is what you're saying.
Don't need one. You just answered my question.
Wait, why?
Because I can still fuck any human on the planet and have a baby.
Okay, yes, and a snow leopard can fuck a regular leopard and make a mixed snow regular leopard. That doesn't mean that
but we're not leopards. The last time I checked.
Okay, look, no, but still, a snow leopard can fuck a black leopard.
Of course it can. I could fuck a cow. Doesn't mean I'm gonna make a fucking human now, does it? Fucking idiot.
I agree, but I'm saying that a snow leopard can fuck a regular leopard.
что?
What do you mean?
Okay, then who at the top of the apex